Welcome to the latest podcast here on the Phil Coley Sales Podcast. And every single week I'm going to be bringing you some of the tips, skills and my experience in sales to help you drive your sales forward. Regardless if you are a sales professional, you're a startup business, a scale-up business, and just want to sell more. Today we're going to be looking at domains and domain names, and you might wonder what that's got to do with sales. Well, it's actually got loads to do with sales, and I love domain names. And I love the domain names because you can use them to create not only your own branded websites, your own company websites, but you can also use them for those all important landing pages. So let's look at the domains in a little bit more detail. So if you're a business, then you need to make sure you own your domains, and particularly now that many more businesses are becoming much more global. Even if you are a solopreneur, you can now become global. The world has really closed in. It's so much more just like one big village. So for many people within your goods, products and services, you can offer those around the world. So it's really important to think about the domain names that you may well need. So many of you watching these will be able to take your own country domains, and that's fantastic. But also you need to look at some of those generic domains and how you can use those, particularly with the extensions. So when I talk about extensions, obviously we've got the .coms, you've got the .co.uk, you've got the .as, you've got loads of different endings, but you've also now got some really clever domain endings. So you've got .agency, .coach, .business, .whatever. There are so many more out there now, and you can utilize those for your business. If it's going to be your main domain or are there going to be some subdomains, you can start to use them, but you need to go and purchase them. And I'm always talking to people about making sure you protect your brand. So be it yourself or be it your company, protect your brand. Go out there and buy those domains. Make sure you've got them so nobody else can get them. Now, in the same context, what you can also do, and I see this happen all the time, and I'm talking to clients all the time about this, you can also get domains that can be similar to your competitors, particularly lazy competitors who haven't bought the right string of the domains. So you might have XYZ company and they'll buy .com maybe, they might buy .co.uk if they're in the UK, but they might not buy some of the other, what I would say would be the generic extensions. And that gives you a great opportunity to actually purchase some of those domains and then actually be able to utilize those in terms of where you point them so they come to your site. Now some people go, oh, you can't do that. To me, that's guerrilla marketing. It's about being intelligent, and if somebody isn't clever enough to go and buy their domain and protect it, and you do, you're getting a competitive advantage. And it's all about these different tips and these different ways of running your business. But also when we look at that, make sure you get some of these sector specific domains that become really useful in your industry. So let's take an example here of, say, hydraulic oils. You want to make sure that if hydraulicoils.co.uk, .com, .wherever is available, make sure you buy it. Make sure you've got it if that's what you do as a business. Now, of course, that may well have gone. But in that example, think about what you do as a business, and sometimes remember people will be looking at that as a lead-in. They won't always be looking for your company name, and you can spend thousands of pounds on your SEO, you can spend thousands of pounds on your paid ads, but also you can simply go and get that domain. Now, by getting that domain, you're not going to get thousands and thousands of visits, but you're starting to own the sector, own the niche you're in as well. And so many people miss out on this simple thing. The other thing about domains is also then domains and emails. And how many companies I see today, they have a domain name, but their company email address is something like a Gmail address. Nothing against Gmail, but it doesn't give the right impression. If you own the domain, own the email. Particularly now today in the world of 365, you can own the domain. You can have multiple aliases within that domain. that doesn't cost you any more than your 365 license. And I think people forget this. It's about impressions. It's about you as a business getting out there, having those impressions to make it work right. So you need to make sure you own the domain. You need to make sure you have that email address. If you're a startup business or a scale-up business, why are you still using old email addresses? Why are you still using Outlook, Hotmail, whatever it happens to be, whatever those dots are? Make sure you're using your brand or your company domain, because it's about creating the right impression. So when you've got the domain, you need to make sure that your domain, which domain you're going to use, is your main domain. And I'm not going to go into the whys and wherefores of websites. You can talk to website experts all over the place and they'll help you on that. But it's making sure you own your brand and how you do different things. Because the other key thing you can start to do, particularly from a sales funnel perspective, you can create landing page websites. Now, this day and age, you can't always just have a single one, or that you can, but actually, you know, in terms of algorithms and everything else like that, you can have a little bit more content around it. But even if you have a landing page that's probably got 3 or 4 pages to it, then you can use that as the right kind of funnel. So if we go back to our hydraulic oils again, if you've got a hydraulic oils dot whatever it happens to be, you can just have it maybe for Shell hydraulic oils. You could have it for Castrol hydraulic oils. It could be anything, or it could even be combine hydraulic oils. So we get really niche in terms of what it is. So if somebody's looking for combine hydraulic oils, come to your site, create the funnel, in they come, show everything that's available, and you're there. And you can still have a main site, you can have your e-commerce site, you can link everything across it. But you can get things going really quickly. You can get the domains get in there. Now, you'll probably become fascinated by domains like I am. We own hundreds of different domain addresses, not only for our own company, but for all of our clients. And we're doing it because we're being specific, we're being niche, and actually we're doing some guerrilla marketing alongside that as well. So get out there, look at the right domains, and see what's going to work for you. I genuinely can tell you this strategy works, and it's a strategy you should adopt. Nothing else. Make sure you own your own personal branded domain. Make sure you own your company domain. Add any extensions that work for you. Make sure you start to look at what niche are you in. Are any domain names available that you can buy? They're not a huge expense, and actually the return on investment can be massive, particularly when we talk about niching and we talk about actually owning a space. Own the domain. If you're using podcasts like I am, if you've got a YouTube channel, then make sure you start to look at different extensions. Make sure you own .tv as well. The world is moving into video, to moving images. Everybody is expecting that. Start to own your marketing space regardless of your business. I really hope you've enjoyed that podcast today. It's a real punchy one for me. It's one that I love. Tune in every week and I'm going to be giving you even more tips, ideas, and sharing my experience with you to help you on that journey of sales.